What's going on, guys? Chad here with Greenlight Shooting, and welcome to this new video. Today we're talking concealed carry holsters. This is one of the most frequent questions that I get asked. You know, people that are just getting into carrying, maybe they just got their first gun, or honestly people who have been carrying for a while, but they've just been using, you know, their grandpa's leather holster that was handed down to them or something. There's a lot of good holsters out there. I've been able to test a ton of them out because of this channel, as well as I tried a bunch out before I even started this channel, and I really got a feel for kind of what I liked. So I just wanted to give you kind of a quick overview of the three main types and the main holsters that I wear on a day-to-day basis to hopefully give you an idea. Now there are tons of variables with concealed carry holsters, you know, body type, where you want to carry, what kind of gun you're carrying, all sorts of stuff. So while I, you know, don't take this as the Bible of use this holster, but more so maybe use it as use this type of holster. Kind of figure out what you like from the holsters that I like, and then just give some a try. If you're not familiar with concealed carry holsters, primarily there's a couple ways to carry. Usually you're either going to be carrying appendix, cross draw, which is just kind of the opposite side of appendix on the front right here. You can carry kind of like the 4 or 5 o'clock, kind of right above your back right pocket, or you can do small of the back. Now, generally speaking, I don't do small of the back holsters because a lot of times what you'll do is you'll get a left-handed holster, put it in the small of the back, and then when you draw, you end up muzzling yourself. So, and then if you have a right-handed holster, it's just kind of an awkward arm movement. So for the most part, I'm either going that 4 or 5 o'clock, probably 90% of the time, and then I'll go appendix when it makes sense for me. So those are the two ways to carry that I've found to be the best for me and my style. In addition, if you're not familiar with concealed carry holsters, there's a couple different materials that are generally used. There's like a Kydex, which is like a hard plastic that's actually molded to your gun. There's leather, which is much softer, or there's a hybrid of the two where they kind of take a Kydex holster and then they put it onto a leather backer, so you still get the comfort, and then the Kydex helps to protect the gun and kind of molds to the gun. So lots of pros and cons to all those different ones. Let's go over the 3 top concealed carry holster choices for me. Coming in at number 3 on the list today is this holster right here. This is made by Mike over at Last Line of Defense. He has a YouTube channel, you can check that out, but this is it's a fantastic holster. He made this one for me, and I've been really stoked on it. This is probably the highest quality appendix specific holster that I've tried out. It's the most comfortable, I think. And so these are all kind of handmade by him specifically for your gun. He can also make them with, like, you know, the ability to mount lights on them and stuff. So he really does go the extra mile. He's got a couple different finishes. You can see this one is OD green and black on the back here. But as I mentioned, this is kind of that Kydex that molds to your gun. So you can see this is meant for a Glock 19. All the holsters today are Glock 19 just to keep it consistent. But the other thing is this one actually has a spot for an extra magazine, and I think that's a really big deal. Capacity is a huge deal when you're concealed carrying, especially when you're carrying smaller guns. This one with a Glock 19 and an extra mag means you're holding 30 rounds with this thing. And as I mentioned, that is a huge deal. Now, as far as like customization, we've got this one clip right here. You can switch this clip from either here to here. You can also go up or down depending on how low you want the gun to sit in your pants. I've found that sort of the default setting that this comes shipped with, just like this, is the most comfortable for me. You can wear it a little bit deeper, and if you want the clip to be right between the mag and the gun, you can do that. But I find that this kind of hugs the curve of your body the most natural. You've also got some retention screws, so right here you can adjust the retention of the gun right here. Now, one thing to keep in mind is I keep my retention on appendix carry holsters relatively light because you've got a belt pushing up against it, and because it's a relatively safe position. You know, if you were in a critical situation, someone tried to get your gun, it's a pretty safe position, whereas it's right in front of you right here. So I find that a looser retention just allows for an easier draw for me, and it doesn't cost too much in terms of danger or anything like that. We also have some retention on the mag holster, so that's just, you know, whatever's most comfortable for you to grab that second one out there, but the retention is still strong enough to where, I mean, the gun's not going anywhere, right? So then we've got this little thing right here, which is called the claw, and what that's doing is helping to pull this holster into you more. A lot of times the grip is what sticks out the most with concealed carry, and it can be the hardest part to conceal. So with this, your belt kind of pushes into it, which causes the gun to come into your body, and it helps to conceal that grip quite a bit. So overall, I think that this is probably the best holster for an appendix carry style. Now, the only reasons that this one is coming in at number 3 on the list today is just because it is limited to being only able to carry in an appendix style, and it is a bit pricey. You know, you're looking at 125 bucks for this holster. As I mentioned, Mike makes them all by hand. They are all custom made. They're made to order, so I think that's a fine price. You know, I'm all about supporting local businessmen, and I think that Mike's doing a killer job with these. So this is the last line of defense holster, coming in at 125 bucks. Coming in at number 2 on the list is the Reckoning holster, made by CrossBreed Holsters. Now, CrossBreed has a long running reputation of creating really high quality holsters that crossbreed the kind of the hybrid of leather and kydex. So you can see that it's got this leather backer on here, which makes it extremely comfortable to wear, and then it also does have that kydex hard durable front so that it protects the gun and it allows for a good solid covering of the trigger guard, as well as just a molded holster to the gun. Now, if you are familiar with CrossBreed's holsters, this is similar to like their Super Tuck. Their Super Tuck was one of my favorite holsters before this. It was just a little bit wider with the leather, and what that allowed for was it kind of dispersed the weight a little bit more on your body. It was a little more comfortable overall, but it was big. It was a bigger footprint. So what they did was they just kind of cut off those wings. They made this a little bit more form-fitting in terms of the leather. They added still 2 clips. A lot of times on a holster of this size, you only see 1 clip. So for bigger guns, especially like this Glock 19 and stuff, it is great to have those 2 clips to allow for a little bit more secure of a fit. And the fact that they kept the leather covering this whole thing, it still makes it incredibly comfortable to wear. Now, this one specifically covers all of the back of the Glock except for the grip. You can get a combat cut, which kind of cuts some of this right here. It makes the draw a little bit quicker and cleaner, but you do sacrifice a little bit of the comfort because you're not covering all of the slide of the Glock there anymore. I personally always favor comfort over everything else, honestly. I'll talk more about that in a minute, but that's the reason I went with the full cover on the leather backer. Now, a couple things about this holster. You can see that we've got the 2 clips here, as I mentioned. You can take those up and down. You can take one down and one up to create a little bit more cant if you like. Cant is just the angle at which your gun is mounted, you know, on your waist. So you can adjust the depth, once again, that the gun's at, or the cant. You can also adjust the retention of the gun, and the way that they've done that is on the side here, they've actually got a little retention device, and it's just an Allen key that fits in there, and you can tighten that down or loosen that out, and that's what's gonna change, you know, how loose the gun is fitting in this holster. Now, for me, I generally carry this holster at kind of that 4 or 5 o'clock, like kind of right above my right pocket of my jeans, and I find that to be the most comfortable. So I do have the retention a little bit tighter. Once again, it's not quite as secure a spot as the appendix. You know, if someone else was coming up on you trying to take your gun or something like that. So I do like a little bit more retention on this, but again, the draw is still super, super clean out of this holster. And then the other really nice thing about this is you can actually change this to an outside the pant holster very easily. All you do is just take these clips off. It comes with some other, they're like U-clips essentially. You just hook those clips on right here, and then you can thread your belt through, and this can be an outside the pant holster, still used for concealed carry, or if you're at the range doing drills or something like that. This makes it a little bit easier to have it outside the pant. So that is the CrossBreed Reckoning holster. This one's coming in at number 2, and they're charging 65 bucks for this thing. They have a couple different colored backers. They have, I think, black, kind of a lighter tan, and then a darker brown. All of them look really clean, and I think they have different colors for the kydex as well. Overall, a fantastic holster, very, very comfortable, very customizable, and a relatively small footprint. Now, before we get into number 1, I want to give a special shout out to the Black Arch Protos M holster. We can kind of call this one an honorable mention. I did this video on this holster like, I don't know, probably 4 years ago, and I called it the most comfortable holster that I'd ever tried at that time. And to this day, it's very, very comfortable, but they have come out with a newer version of this. So you can see on the back here, this is all leather. They've come out with one that's sort of a soft mesh in here, and it looks incredible. They're actually sending me one out in the next week, so I will try that out. I'll get you guys a full review on that. I just want to let you know that this was my favorite holster a couple years ago, and I think with the addition of the new mesh and things like that, it's going to absolutely work its way back up. I just want to give a shout out as an honorable mention to the Black Arch holsters. Again, we've got clips right here. You can adjust cant, you can adjust ride depth, you can adjust your retention with that screw right there. We've got hard kydex on here, and we've got leather, which they now use a soft mesh, and I'm excited to try that out. Okay, coming in at number 1, this should be no surprise if you're a fan of the channel. This is the Alien Gear Shapeshift modular holster system. This one specifically is their double clip. I honestly, I try so many holsters that come through. I like a lot of the holsters that come through, but after I'm done testing them out for a video, I always find myself going back to this holster. And there's a couple reasons for that. You can see it fits the Glock just like that. So when you order the starter kit for this, it is like $100, so it's a little bit pricier than the other options, but you get a lot more. So you get this shell that actually fits the gun that you need it for. And then you also get this double clip backer, which is the long, this is like a really breathable neoprene, super, super comfortable. This is probably the most comfortable setup just because it, like I said, it kind of disperses the weight and things like that, but it is, it's a bigger footprint. So it also comes with a smaller one that's like just pretty much the size of the shell right here. I use that one if I'm gonna be appendix carrying with this, so you can switch between that 4 or 5 o'clock to appendix really easily. And then it also comes with an outside the pant holster. So all you do is just take this shell off, throw it on the outside the pant, and you've got 3 different holsters essentially, so customizable. Actually, before I say that, let me tell you that there are expansion packs. There's a shoulder holster, an ankle holster, a car holster, all sorts of expansion packs that go along with this same shell setup. So once you've got the shell for your gun, you can just get those additional expansion packs that range from like, I don't know, 15 to 40 bucks or something each. In fact, let me just show you this. I'm gonna take this off, slide this down, and here's the shell. So you can put on the full shell so it covers the back of the gun as well if you're doing outside the pant or like in your car or something like that. But all you're gonna do is just put this shell onto the other expansion packs. If you wanna switch to that smaller leather backer or that smaller kind of neoprene backer, you switch this on. If you wanna switch it to the outside the pant, like I said, it's super, super easy, and I love that about it. The other reason I think this is one of the best options out there is because it's completely toolless. Now, years ago when I did that review on this Black Arch holster, I mentioned that it was one of the best holsters around, but I hated the fact that I had to have a screwdriver with me. I hated the fact I needed additional things with me, and I said that if someone can figure out how to kind of create this style that's completely toolless, that'll win. So with alien gear, like if you want to adjust the retention, all you have to do is take off this little plastic knob that they use to like secure the holster into place. And then that's what's used to then adjust your retention right here. I think it's such a smart system. And on top of that is the clips right here. If you want to change that cant, if you want to change how deep the gun is riding, all you're doing is flipping these upside down, pulling them out, and then you can change it to whatever hole you want. And it's that simple, as opposed to some of these other ones, which are just fine, but you have to have tools with you in order to do that. So I just find the customization so useful on this alien gear holster. And then beyond that, this is the most comfortable for me. I really like this padded, soft, breathable mesh backer. I completely forget I'm wearing the gun when I'm using this holster. And to me, that's the most important. I prioritize comfort over everything else when it comes to concealed carry. And the reason I do that is because if it's not comfortable, I'm not gonna carry. And that defeats the purpose. That supersedes it having a good draw, having anything like that, because you know, if it's uncomfortable to wear, I'm just not gonna wear it. I might wear it for a week and then I'm just gonna fall off because I don't wanna wear it anymore. So this holster I can just throw on and honestly forget that it's there. It's super, super comfortable. And in addition to that, don't get me wrong, this is a fantastic holster. It has all those other options of customization. The draw is super, super clean. You can adjust how you want to carry really, really easily and always have the same draw because you're using that same shell with the same retention you've got set up. So I just think this is a fantastic option. I'm not getting paid by these guys. I'm not getting paid by any of these guys, by the way. This isn't a sponsored video. None of these guys know I'm making this video. This is just the holster that I keep going back to. So price-wise on this one, I think you're, like I said, about $100 or so for the starter kit that comes with everything you need to start. And then the additional add-ons are like $30-ish on average, I would say. So that is my roundup on the top 3 best concealed carry holsters. It was a little more long-winded than I originally meant for it to be, but I guess I had a lot to say. I hope you guys got something out of it. As I mentioned, you know, don't take these as your best holsters. These are the best holsters for me and my style, my body type, my carry style. So just kind of take what I said, hopefully piece together the things that you liked about it and find a holster that works for you based on that information. But if you need a starting point, any of these holsters are a fantastic option. If a first-time concealed carry person comes to me and asks me a question, what's the best holster for me, I always point them to this one because it has everything they need right out of the gate. So I hope that helps you out. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up button. That does help out the channel a bunch. Subscribe to the channel, we got a lot more good stuff coming. Share the video if you think someone else might get something out of this. And leave me a comment down below, let me know what your favorite holster is, what kind of holsters I should try out from here, and we'll get it rolling. So thanks so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time on Greenlight Shooting.